you were someone that was at Formula E when it was just starting off, and that's the series that's really evolved in, popularity, even just the speed of the cars and the locations they're able to get to. It's been really, really cool to watch that series evolve. How do you view where it is now compared to where it was at the start and the journey it's been on as a series?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because, like, luckily because I'm out of the sport now, I can be way more truthful about it. There's a lot of things they do right about it. There's a lot of it that they do wrong, and there's like certain old practices in place which need to kind of be changed to like raise their profile a bit more. I think I do always have a sweet spot for Formula E because it's like the first proper championship I worked in, where the difference with like Formula One to like Formula E is that Formula E feels like a family. Everybody knows everyone, and you have this to an extent with Formula One, but not to Formula E's one, because like when you're going out to races, like 9 times out of 10, most of the grid is on the plane that you're flying out to, and everyone's kind of there because they just like racing. And I think with Formula E, it's more the case of like the things they're trying to add into the broadcast or into the fan engagement isn't really kind of working. And I think people can see that for what it is. So, for example, like fan boost, like it's a clearest day that no one likes it. It feels very fake because it kind of feels like a popularity contest. I understand why Formula E are trying to do it because it's a bit of engagement through social media. However, now they've removed that element, it's a bit like, well, it's just a popularity contest to get extra power during the race, and it feels false. So I think that's one thing which like the sport really needs to remove. And I think it's also how they're actually trying to promote the series, because obviously up until now there's been very much like green energy, renewable energy, this is the way of the future, blah blah blah. But if you go down the route of like a climate change perspective, as good as it is to like project your picture onto that, it's you always will have like a knife in your back a little bit because it's never going to be like a viral sort of entity. Whereas the way I've always wanted Formula E to go down is always still be the electric route. But let's say we had like a street race in Tokyo, it's a night race, and you can imagine it, with the neon lights and everything, and it make it look visually cool, looks like something of the future. That for me sounds way more exciting than here's some renewable energy sort of cars and stuff. And it's a bit of it's trying to make it a bit more sexy effectively. And I'm glad now that we're going to go to this new sort of Gen 3 car. Not too sure about its looks, but we've got to wait and see until all 24 cars are on the grid, like sort of going against each other. But at least they're kind of trying. But the main thing with Formula E is that it's not trying to be Formula One, and it never has tried to be Formula One. The only similarities it's got is that it's got Formula in the name. Apart from that, there's no sort of similarities there apart from it being a motorsport. But there's a really interesting fact though that we learned, that Formula E sort of do every year. They always do like these big reports into like the viewers and the analytics and stuff. And one of the key ones that always stuck out to me is that 90% of people who watch Formula E watch Formula One, but only 10% of people who watch Formula One watch Formula E. And as soon as you kind of realize that, it's like, okay, you need to really harness who your audience is. If you are going to try and go down the younger demographic route, you do need to then kind of lose some of the sustainability, like massive messaging you've got, and go down more of this route of it being really exciting and try to not overmarket yourself. Because I think you got to like 2 seasons ago where Drive to Survive had just boomed. Like it's a really new, interesting way. Also the same for McLaren Unboxed, that kind of got released at the same time. You saw a massive popularity of that grow to the point where now most teams are doing their own McLaren Unboxed, so not trying to do a Drive to Survive angle. But now every championship, they've seen the success from that and is now trying to replicate that. And with Formula E, at one point, they were just over marketing how much behind the scenes stuff they're doing, but they weren't focusing on the actual race itself. They were just like showing all the behind the scenes perspective, going to OTT with it, and it kind of just was alienating.